I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending New Year's Day 2016, where we've just seen a whole lot of volatility, just unprecedented ups and downs in the cattle market over the last year. We wonder if that's going to continue. It probably will. Fortunately, here at the very end of last year through the holiday season there, we saw another spike coming up in our favor for once. Your live cattle ended the year really. December went off the board at 135.80. February 6th sitting at 136.80, which is a couple bucks better than what current cash cattle values are. Feeder cattle for January at 166.90. Look at some things that come in at the end of the week there. Your actual carcass weights on steers is down to 907. It was just a few weeks ago that we were at 930 pounds, so the lighter that gets, the more cattle they really need to slaughter to get the same amount of red meat production or beef production there. But that 907, that really hadn't even got in. It's running about 3 weeks behind because it's actual weight. So we'll need another week or two to really get into some of those storm cattle and the real bitter cold and ice and blizzard cattle that they had in the southern plains. But we had a decent holiday week slaughter there for the last week of the year. 75,000 more than the same week a year ago. And you think that's awful good, but then you look at the hogs, and the hog slaughter was 428,000 more than the same week a year ago. But fat cattle to end the year, just through early Thursday, not even including a few cleanup sales that they had Thursday afternoon, they had 110,000 head for the week, and that's a pretty good movement on a negotiated basis for this day and time. Your live sales range mostly from 130 to 136, and there was kind of a big range in there because we had some early week sales that were some better, and then had some late week sales that were a whole lot better. But your weighted average is going to be real close to 134. On a dress basis, you're in the beef sales were from $2 to $214, so even a larger range there. But mostly the bulk of them from 211 to 212. But when I talk to you on Wednesday, we'll have the weighted averages for those, and I'll give those to you. Feeder cattle, we really didn't have a good test for the last week or two because there really hasn't been any sales to speak of. Just a few knockout sales and some specials in some places. Kearney, Nebraska had a pretty decent sale. St. Joe, Missouri had a little sale. Most of your big high volume sales haven't really gotten started good. Now we're going to have some big sales. Joplin Regional Stockyards expecting a big week. Mark Harmon, Catfish, a lot of you know him by. He sent me an email today and said that he said JRS is going to be rocking this coming week. So they're expecting around 10,000 head for the regular Monday sale. They're expecting 5,000 weanback feeders for their special Thursday sale. They're going to have a big video to follow on Thursday. No telling how many loads of cattle will be on there by the time it comes around. And they always have a pretty big cow sale on Wednesday. So going to be a lot of activity on Joplin Regional Stockyard. And you can tune into DV Auction at sale time and watch that sale live broadcast there. And if you're registered, you can bid on there too. But look at some of the prices. What do we expect this week? We expect your feeders to be sharply higher this week on a cash basis. A few of those early sales that we saw are hinting around that we're going to see a big jump on your cash feeders this week. These calves have just been itching to get higher, and they did, and a few of the sales that they had over the last couple of weeks didn't see any country trade because they're not going to step out there too far until that market gets established. But expect some of your fancy 500-pound steers to be inching close to $2 again up in the northern plains and in the Midwest. Of course, they're a little cheaper as the quality's not quite as fancy when you get further south, but there'll be big jumps in those cattle too. But you know, your real-time index on Cattle Market Central is running up over 168 now, so that's based on a 750-pound steer. CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index has a lot to gain to catch up with that. Of course, it's always running a day or two behind the real actual values that are established, but So we're figuring, we'll be getting these 7-weight cattle up to 8-weight cattle, bringing in the 170s. So we're getting back real quickly what we gained there over that last part of the end of the fall there. But you look at the big roller coaster ride that some of the feeder cattle values have seen over the last year. Look at that graph there on your cash feeder cattle index, and you see whenever we had the wreck and how steep down it went, and then we had some big kind of a elongated correction and then down hard again, and now we're coming back. But what do we expect over 2016? I don't think we have to fear the supplies that we have been fearing, knowing that we're starting to rebuild our herds again, and there's going to be a few more calves show up next fall especially. But I don't think we have to fear that supply anymore. We've already been through the wreck that we assumed that the supply would bring, so we're probably about where we need to be. As you can always expect that we're going to have a good demand for grazing cattle and calves in the springtime and in the late winter, because it's getting where they always buy those light calves to turn out on grass a little bit earlier every year. So you can expect a lot of grass grazers to be buying those lightweight calves to warm up for grass here before too long. And we know that we're going to have some pressure whenever it gets to next fall. If it was me, I would probably look at contracting your grass yearlings in the summertime again, like everybody was doing for a long time. But then when they missed the boat on the big rally there, a lot of them didn't do it last time and wish they had them. But it's probably a good idea to do that. Can't go broke taking a profit. It's always a good thing to cinch up some kind of a profit if you can out front. But volatility is probably going to continue to be the norm. As long as these outside interests continue to dominate the cattle board at the CME, we can expect that, unless the CME comes in there and raises the margins on what it takes for some of these speculators to get in there and trade around on that board, or if they go in and start to do something about the high frequency trades that have really caused this volatility to get out of hand just in the last several months. And now that we've gone totally to automated trading, there's no pit anymore, so you don't get a real good feel for the market, and it just seems like volatility is the norm. So protect yourself. If you haven't got on to Cattle Market Central, you need to. I know I talk about Cattle Market Central a lot, and you guys may not know what it is, and I know a lot of you aren't really big IT tech people, but if you'll just type in cattlemarketcentral.com, and you can go on there and you can log in and just give them your email address, and within just a day or so, or not even that long, we'll send you back, and you put in your own password, we'll send you back a login, and you can get on there, and you can't hurt it. And there's a lot of information from sale barns all across the country. You can check out the real-time index that's a precursor for the CME cash feeder cattle index. You can check out weighted averages and average prices within regions, within states, for the whole nation. Go to particular sale barns and see actual quotes. But my favorite thing to do is go on there and do a search and put a weight range in and the class of cattle you're looking for, and then just watch those individual lots come up, because that's where your market really is on your load lots, on your big groups of cattle, what they're bringing compared to what they're bringing in other places or in other times. But back at home now, so here in Maysville, Missouri, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.